Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock. It's time for another video. And today I'm going to be doing a top 10 list. Love the top 10 lists. This is actually probably going to be the first of a two-part top 10 list just because there's so many bloody things that you can talk about in this list, which is the top 10 magic tricks that fit inside a wallet, or the top 10 EDC magic tricks that fit inside a wallet. You know, I've talked many times on this channel about EDC, everyday carry type items. And for me, an everyday carry item isn't a sponge ball. It isn't a deck of cards. It isn't an American dollar. An EDC for me is something that would organically look like it would make sense to be in the wallet. So a receipt, for example, a credit card, something like that. That for me is an EDC. It's an everyday carry. Because if I was out and about and somebody said, hey, show me a trick, and I go, well, I don't really have anything on me. I've got some receipts here. I've got a credit card here. I've got some stamps here. Whatever it is that you'd keep inside your wallet, for me, that's the best type of item to put inside a wallet because it organically looks like it's meant to be there. So it's almost like you're performing off the cuff. And I think it's really important as a magician to have those items inside your wallet, simply because I've met so many magicians where somebody says, hey, show me a trick. And they go, well, I've got nothing on me and I can't. And what you're basically saying is the magic is in your props and not you. I think you should always be able to perform some magic, whether that's be something impromptu or having something in your wallet. So the reason that I said at the beginning, this is probably the first of a two-part video, maybe even a three-part video, is because I've kind of got a bit of a mini obsession with shoving stuff in my wallet to do magic with. And I was putting this list together and I'm like, man, I could make 3 lists with the stuff that I've got here. So this is going to be the first list. These are my 10 favorites, I think, but I interchange them with a bunch of other stuff all the time. So if you like this video, I probably will be doing a follow-up video at some point in the very near future. But what we have here is we have 10 magic tricks that are designed to be EDCs. So it's something that would organically fit inside a wallet. 10 magic tricks that are the perfect tricks to put inside a wallet. It's basically the ultimate everyday carry. If you want to find out routines and tricks that you can do and you can pull out at a moment's notice, this is the video for you. Let's get to it. Okay, I'm kind of breaking my own rules right here at the very beginning because this first trick is a card trick, right? It is a card trick. It's not a receipt trick or a trick with some money or anything like that. It is flat out a card trick. But it's not a card trick where you carry a pack of cards around with you. It's a card trick where you bring out a folded up card, right? And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to go into your wallet and say, look, I've got a folded up card here. I'm going to put it down on the table. We'll get back to that in a little bit, right? Now, the trick I'm talking about, we did a Matt test on very recently, or a Craig test, and it's called Iceberg by Daniel Dorian Johnson. Now, Daniel Dorian Johnson bought this out through Michael Murray's company, MindFX. He bought it out at Blackpool. And in essence, what Iceberg is, it is an any card at any number, but it's an any card at any number without a deck of cards, which is insane, right? So if you haven't seen it, the idea is that you put a card down on the table from the very beginning. You then, and you get back to that in a little bit, so we're going to get back to that. And then you bring out another card and you say, hey, this is a prediction. You have somebody apparently freely think of a card and freely think of a number. And then you say, hey, have a look at this. And you turn the card around and you can do the old 52-to-1 card, gag if you want to. But then you point out that every single card is on there and every card has a different position next to it. And then you point out that sorry, I'm going completely mad. That's the folded up card, right? So the folded up card's there. You have somebody name a card, you have somebody name a number, and then you take the folded up card, you unfold it, and when you do, you've got that 52-to-1 gag on there, and then you point out that the card that's at the position that they named is actually the card that they named, and they can examine everything. Now, there's lots of different ways of doing this, but ultimately, what's so strong about this is, from the audience's point of view, there's one card folded up card inside a wallet. You open up the wallet, you put that card on the table, and you're good to go. Now, on the project, there's multiple handlings. There's multiple ways of doing this. And some of the handlings require something extra with you as well as that folded up card. But there are handlings on there that just need the folded up card and nothing else. And to be honest, as an everyday carry, that's the way that I would do it. So I would literally open up my wallet, take out that folded up card, put it down on the table, go through the presentation. You've got the really funny gag of having the 52 and 1 card on there, but then you've got that insane moment where they can see that every card is different. Every card's got a position next to it, and the card that they named and the number that they named match up. I mean, it really is very strong. I've always been a fan of Any Card at Any Number. I think Any Card at Any Number is a great plot. I've developed many different versions of my own. This is probably the version outside of my own that I use the most because I can do it when I don't need a deck of cards. So I'm kind of cheating because it's not a thing that's organically inside your wallet, but I wanted to cover it because I think it is such a strong EDC item. It definitely deserves to make the list. So in 10th position, we've got Iceberg by Daniel Dorian Johnson. Okay, so in 9th position, you have Food for Thought by Martin Pierce. Now, this came out about 6 months ago through Alakazam. It is one of Ryland's favourite tricks. So what is Food for Thought? Well, Food for Thought, in essence, basically, is you bring out a bunch of cards that are credit card style cards, but they're like store cards for various different restaurants. And the idea is that you lay them all out and they make all of the choices. It feels really fair, all the different choices that they make, and yet you have able, using another card that you put down at the very beginning, you're able to predict all of the choices they made, like every single choice, what they did for you. It's kind of a little bit like free will, but not really. It's the free will concept, but then there's a bunch of other stuff that's built into it as well. I love this trick, I really do. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about when it comes to an EDC. In that you have items that you would find in a wallet. You know, if you pulled out of a wallet, store cards, that kind of makes sense. You know, restaurant store cards, loyalty cards, that sort of thing. It all makes sense, right? And it's a very strong trick to do. If you're out and about and somebody says, hey, show me a trick, and you go, well, I've got nothing on me. Let me, hey, I've got some cards here for like McDonald's and KFC and places like that. Let's try something. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll give it a go. And you go into this at the end, my gosh, it's very, very strong. Anyone who's tried the free will concept will know how strong it is. And this is a perfect example of a really great version of that plot. So in 9th place, you have Food for Thought by Martin Pierce. Okay, so in 8th position, we have the Magician's Insurance card by Wayne Goodman. Now, you can get these directly from Wayne, or you can get it from Alakazam. They carry his range as well. So what is the Magician's Insurance card? Well, anybody that's been in Magic for a while will remember the Magician's Insurance policy. When I worked restaurants on a regular basis, I used to do the Magician's Insurance policy at every single table because it's kind of guaranteed laugh. Now, what the Magician's Insurance policy was is you would have somebody pick a card, and then once they've picked the card, you bring out this big policy. You fail to find the card and you bring out this big policy, and there's a bunch of gags in there, and eventually you show that you've actually predicted their card. The card actually is inside the Magician's Insurance policy, and it's kind of it's a gag thing, but it's a really strong revelation as well. I think sometimes that as magicians, we forget just how strong the revelation of a forced card is. As long as the force is strong, as long as the force is, a good force that's going to fool people, a revelation in that manner is great. And I love the whole thing of people thinking, hang on, magicians have insurance? That's weird. Wayne has brought it bang up to date by creating a credit card. And the credit card has on it Magician's Insurance card. And it, as you would imagine with Wayne Goodman, it's filled with gags, it's filled with jokes, it's filled with revelations of playing cards, revelations of a bunch of other stuff as well. But what's really nice is that it's basically the Magician's Insurance policy, but done in the shape of a credit card. So you can literally just pop it inside your wallet and you're good to go. It takes up virtually no space. Now, it's not really, it is an everyday carry, but it's not something that you would organically find inside your wallet. But people buy into the fact that this is actually an insurance card. And I have actually performed this, and I've said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've got insurance. You know how you get insurance for life insurance, you get insurance for everything these days, right? You get pet insurance, you can insure everything these days. Well, as magicians, we actually have insurance. We have insurance for everything. We have insurance called public liability insurance. If we break something, we're at the gig. We have a bunch of different insurance, but I actually have insurance against a trick going wrong. This is my card. Let me show you how this works. And it's a really funny bit, and it just makes sense pulling this out of your wallet, because if a magician really could have insurance and you were given a card, you better believe that you would keep that in your wallet. So it's a really nice update of the insurance gag. But also, having performed it a few times now, I can tell you right now, it is a very strong revelation. And Wayne's card, the card that Wayne has made to be able to do this, is very well made, and there's so much crammed into it. So that's your 8th position. It's the Magician's Insurance card by Wayne Goodman. Okay, so in seventh position, I'm going to give you 2 tricks, and you can go whichever way you want. I'm going to give you Gossip and Showreel. Gossip is by me. I bought it out through Alakazam. It was one of the first tricks that I bought out when I came back to the magic industry. And Showreel is by Michael Murray, and it came out at Blackpool this year. Now, on the surface, they're similar in that you have a page that's torn out of a Gossip magazine, and off that magazine page, you have somebody think of a celebrity, and you're able to reveal the celebrity, right? That's basically, in essence, what both Gossip and Showreel is. Now, I love Showreel. I do. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think that the reveals in it that are built into it are incredible. And I know a lot of people swear by Showreel and love it, and rightfully so. Personally, I prefer Gossip, and I know there's several people I've spoken to that do prefer Gossip. And I think the reason is Gossip isn't really so much of a mentalism trick. Maybe if I was a hardcore mentalist, I would go for Showreel, because it does have more of a mentalism-y feel, and it's all about influence, and it's all about, hey, I influenced you, and the reveal and everything is built into the magazine page, which is really nice. Gossip is more of mental magic, because it's based on the traditional baby gag, which for me as a comedy magician is much better from my point of view. So the way Gossip works is they pick a celebrity, and then I show that in my wallet from the very beginning I had a picture of a baby, and then when they turn it round, it's actually got the celebrity on the other side, and they never actually say the celebrity out loud. Showreel, totally different thing. They again think of a celebrity, and it really feels like they have a free choice, but then you're able to show that you influence them, and that from the very beginning you influence them to think of that celebrity, and then you proceed to prove it. So both of them have something in common, which is it's a page ripped out of a magazine, which you fold up and you put into your wallet. And that's great, because my presentation, you know, some people might be thinking, hang on a minute, how can you justify carrying a piece of paper out of a magazine around with you? Well, my justification is, hey, my wife loves Gossip magazines, and she's always working, you know, reading articles on who dated who married who did, and I saw an article in her magazine the other day, and I actually tore it out. I've been showing it to people. I want to show you this. It's kind of like a top 10. That's how I go into it, and you can do exactly the same thing with Showreel as well. Both of them are fantastic. I look, ultimately, Gossip is my favorite, because again, I stand by my products. I've been doing Gossip for over 10 years. But that doesn't take away from Showreel at all. Showreel is absolutely fantastic. And I could see and could understand why people would prefer Showreel over Gossip. Absolutely 100%. For me, I prefer Gossip. It's down to the individual. Either way, in this position, I'm going to put that trick. So if you want to do a trick with a page torn out of a magazine that is a celebrity reveal, then you've got 2 options there. Gossip through myself and Alakazam Magic, or Showreel through Mind Effects and Michael Murray. Okay, so in 6th position, I have Thy Will Be Done by Alexander Marsh, Alex McAleer, whoever you want to call him, and the 1914. Now, what is Thy Will Be Done? Well, it's another version of Free Will. But what's really nice about this version is that you have a tarot card inside your wallet. So you have one single tarot card, and you put the tarot card down in front of you, and the spectator makes a number of choices, and you're able to reveal those choices in a free will style way, whilst at the same time there's an extra timing force sort of reveal built into it as well. I remember the first time I saw Alex perform this, and I was absolutely blown away. Not blown away in terms of being fooled, but blown away in terms of that's really clever. I don't do tarot at all. It's not something I build into my presentation, but I do Thy Will Be Done. And the reason is people know what tarot cards are. They're very interesting props. Now, I'm not going to do a full tarot reading, but what I am going to do, absolutely, is bring one single tarot card out, and I can tell a story about how I found this in the shop, or it was given to me. There's many different ways that you can present it. But this takes the free will concept, which, by the way, the free will principle when it comes to magic and mentalism is one of the strongest principles that some people think, oh, it's only a choice of three objects, but you don't understand. If you've never tried it, it just kills people dead. It really does. And the fact that this is built into a tarot card, which is placed on the table from the very beginning, it's very, very strong. In fact, I used to do Will to Read by Steve Della, which is still a great trick. It hasn't made this list. It might make the follow-up list. I don't know. But I've switched out Will to Read for Thy Will Be Done, because just for me, it's a better trick for me. The way that I perform it and the way that I perform Will to Read. Nothing against Will to Read. It's fantastic. It'll definitely make a future list. But for me, out the two of them, Thy Will Be Done is the better trick, and it's incredible. If you're looking for a really awesome, and the way that the 1914 have designed the tarot card is really good as well. So there you go. That's sixth position. Thy Will Be Done by the 1914. Okay, so we're heading into the top five now. Heading into the top five. How exciting is that? In fifth place, I'm going to give you one of my tricks. This is Lucky Lotto by myself and Penguin Magic. Now, I love Lucky Lotto. So what is Lucky Lotto? Well, it's basically a banknight built into a lottery ticket. In fact, I've got one of them here because I'm going to a gig in a bit, and this is it. This is the lottery ticket. Okay, and it's a scratch card. So the whole idea of this, everybody knows what a scratch card is, right? It's a very common object. So the idea with Lucky Lotto is you bring out a scratch card and you drop 20 quid on the table, and you say, look, I'm going to give you a chance to win £20. It's as simple as that. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to have you pick three squares. If you scratch off the square and it's a cross, you lose. If you get a circle, you win. If you get the circle, you get 20 quid. If you get three circles, if you get three crosses and you leave me with the circle and I'm managing to influence you to do that, then I keep the £20 and you got to give me a big round of applause. Now, the reason this came about is because I love Bank Night. I do it in every single show on stage, and I always wanted to do a version of Bank Night but close up. And this just made sense. Logically, it makes sense to do a Bank Night with a scratch card, right? I mean, why would you not want to do a Bank Night with a scratch card? It just makes total sense. So there's a couple of different handlings on the project. And one of the handlings uses a stack of these scratch cards, but the other handling involves just one scratch card that you've got folded up and it's inside your wallet. And this is the EDC for me. It fits on top of a credit card into a credit card slot very, very easily. And it just stays there and it lives in my wallet until I need it. And I have a little, in my wallet, I have a little mentalism set and a little magic set that I do that can run up to 20 minutes. And maybe I'll do a performance of that set at some point and then break it down and show you exactly what I do. But I open the mentalism set with Lucky Lotto. And, you know, I've talked on this channel before, one of the most important things about opening a show is to grab people's attention, establish credibility, which should show you how valuable for me Lucky Lotto is. It ticks all the boxes. It's audience interaction. It's something that everybody knows. It's a scratch card. I'm giving people a chance to win money. It allows me to inject my personality into the performance, talking about influence and, hey, being an honest cheat. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just works perfectly for me with this. And you know what? And this is hilarious, but it's true. Out of all of the stuff that I've released through Penguin, I think that Lucky Lotto has probably been it hasn't sold as well as the others. It's sold really well, but not as well as all the other stuff that I've bought out. I've bought out 3 tricks at this point: Keymaster, Chop, and Lucky Lotto. And Lucky Lotto is probably my favorite out of the 3, I would say. I think so. I would say so, yeah. So, yeah, Lucky Lotto, it's amazing. It's a perfect EDC. You just fold that scratch card up, throw it in your wallet, and it's there when you need it, and it always gets a great reaction. So it's 5th place in this list. It's Lucky Lotto. Okay, so in 4th place, we have Overdraft by Paul Fowler. Overdraft by Paul Fowler. Now, this is another trick through the 1914, and the 1914 obviously are an amazing group of guys, D. Christopher and Jack Curtis, and Overdraft is probably one of the best tricks that 1914 have ever released, and this is somebody that's released more than one trick through the 1914, but what Overdraft is it's a collection of credit cards, right? You have 3 credit cards, and what these credit cards allow you to do is perform absolute miracles. Paul Fowler's a great magician. I've interviewed him recently for Talk Magic, and he's a great thinker, and he does a lot of stuff with regular items, and I think this is the best trick he's released. The nice thing about Overdraft is it's just a couple of credit cards in your wallet, right? So you say, hey, I want to show you something. Let me grab a couple of credit cards out. And when you take these credit cards out, you're good to go. And the scale of routines on the project is insane. There is so much that you can do with this: money productions, transpositions, teleportations. There's a bunch of stuff. So there's something on there for everybody. But a lot of the routines are constructed so the cards are either examinable at the beginning, they're examinable at the end, and there's some routines where they're examinable and the beginning and at the end. And they have been designed very, very well to look like credit cards. I know that some people said, hey, yeah, but they're not signed by me. They don't have my name on it. Isn't that suspicious? And the answer is no, because what Paul did is he said with his presentation, which is the same presentation I use, hey, these are prepaid credit cards that you can get from a store. And I've got a couple of them, and I want to show you something with them. And I love hook lines like, hey, I'm going to show you how to pickpocket somebody, or I'm going to show you how to do credit card fraud, take money off people without them even realizing it. All of this really weird stuff is a great hook line. And the visuals on this are crazy, and a lot of the time the magic happens in the hands of the spectators as well. Overdraft is great. It's very easy to do, and it's the perfect EDC because you can just drop that stuff into your credit card wallet, credit card compartments, and you're good to go. I love this. It's another trick that I do all of the time. It's called Overdraft. It's by the 1914 and the genius that is Paul Fowler. Okay, so in 3rd place, I have EDC by myself. And this came out earlier this year through Murphy's Magic. I'm not going to be talking about the controversy that surrounded it with Michael Weber. I think that's been put to bed at this point. But EDC is basically, I'll be open with you, it's the binary system built into receipts. Now, I talked about Paul Fowler earlier on. He brought out with Saturn Magic before this another receipt trick that involves mind reading, but he's kind of built more of the mother of all book test type thing into the receipts. I went down the route of the binary system, and I think the real value with EDC is the fact that the receipts look amazing. They're built out of Tyvek. They last a lifetime. They feel and look like real receipts. I've never had a problem in the years that I've actually performed it. But on top of all of that, above and beyond all of that, the other thing that's great about EDC is the scale of the routines that are on the project. There are literally hundreds of routines on the project by people like Michael Murray, Pete Turner, Javier Fuenmea, Lloyd Barnes, as well as an extensive tutorial by myself. And all of these people have different approaches to the plot and different approaches to the way that they use the receipts. My favorite way of using them at the moment is literally using an idea from Michael Murray and an idea from Rich Relish. So the idea is that you bring these receipts out, you have one person think of an item, you have somebody else think of an item, and you've predicted down on business cards on the table from the beginning exactly what it was that they would pick. Another one that I really like is where you predict how many receipts the item's on, and then you actually have predicted in your Amazon search what it is that they've actually selected. There's so many different ways of doing this, but honestly, it's a very direct piece of mentalism because receipts are an organic object. You take a receipt out, everybody has receipts in their wallet, right? So you take these receipts out, it all makes sense. You have them look through the receipts, they think of any item that they want to, they have a completely free choice. They can go back and forth and change their mind if they want to, and then you're able to tell them with nothing written down, no memory work, no nothing. You're immediately able to tell them the item it is that they're thinking of every single time, and it's a different outcome every single time. It's why I love EDC so much, and it's why I fought for it to continue to come out when all of that controversy was taking place. It is probably the most performed trick that I do in my set, both when I'm working professionally and when I'm out and about and I want to do an EDC trick. It's probably the most performed thing that I do. It's one of my 1,000 timers. I love EDC. I could literally just, somebody says, hey, do me a trick. And I'm like, well, I've got some receipts. Should we do that? But also it's one that you can do at a gig as well. And, you know, you might have done some card tricks and some coin tricks and you go, well, let me finish one more thing. I'm going to do something that everybody can relate to. I'm going to talk about receipts. Everybody carries receipts, right? We're going to do something with these receipts, and boom, you go into it. So it's called EDC. It's by Murphy's. You can get it from the Magic TV store or all good magic shops. And if you've never tried it out, try it because I love this trick. Okay, so in second place, I have Torn to Pieces by Sean Farquhar. Now, what Torn to Pieces is basically is, and it's old as the hills, so a lot of people maybe haven't seen it, but the idea of Torn to Pieces is you bring out a little photo from your wallet, and you bring out a little photo and you tear it up, very, very cleanly tear it up. You put the pieces together, snap your fingers, you open it up and it's restored. But it's restored mismade, a little bit like a mismade bill. And that's what it is. But the real goal behind this is, well, there's so many different things, but the routining, the handling is excellent. It's typical Sean Farquhar brilliance, and I mean that. Real brilliant way of actually achieving this, and the way that you handle the photo is just excellent. The other thing that I really love about this is that it's personal to you. People carry pictures around in their wallets, they just do. So you bring out a picture, and the way that Sean actually created this is he gives you templates on the thing so you can actually make your own gimmicks based on pictures that you want. So I've got a picture of Ryland, and the way that I present it a lot of the time is I talk about how Ryland is my son and he's a very famous magician, but he also helps me in my show. And he jumps in the boxes and you know, we cut him up into bits. And I tell them about one of the illusions that I do called the Mismade Boy, where I take him, I put him in a box and he gets cut into 4 pieces. And then when I put him back together, he's in a completely different way. Let me show you. I've got a picture of Ryland. This is Ryland. You might recognize him from Got Talent. Let me see if I can do something here. And I rip him up and then I put him back together and now he's in a mismade order. And it's a great trick to do. It's great for me because it allows me to talk about Ryland. It allows me to talk about my illusion show. It allows me to do an illusion close-up. I just love this trick. And as I say, it makes total sense that you're taking a picture out of your wallet. So it's called Torn to Pieces. You can get it from Palmer Magic, which is Sean Farquhar's magic dealership. But it's also available from most magic dealers as well. So the final trick that I want to talk about is one that I've been wanting to talk about for a good couple of years now. And it's a new trick of mine that's coming out through Alakazam. Now, as of time of filming, this hasn't dropped. I'm doing the live launch for it in a week and a half, and I don't know when this video is coming out. We're batching a lot of videos at the moment because I'm going over to America for Magic Live, and then I'm having to go over again a little bit later on in the month. So because of that, we're batching a lot of videos. So I don't know when this video is coming out. So we're going to be in one of two situations. I'm either giving you a huge scoop on a trick that's coming out soon through Alakazam before the live launch, or I'm talking about a trick that's recently come out through Alakazam. Either way, it's called Ticket to Ride. And I wanted to be totally honest with this particular trick in terms of the trailer. It's like an 8 or a 9 minute trailer where it's just a full performance. I say a full performance. This is a 15-minute act that I keep inside my wallet. And what it is it's a stack of about 25, 30 train tickets. And me and Alakazam spent a long time designing these tickets so that they look just like a real UK train ticket, and they look and feel just like a real train ticket, right? But it's a bunch of train tickets, and the whole idea is, in its basic components, you take the train tickets out, you show them, they're all different. And they can literally go through them with a fine-tooth comb. They could look at each individual train ticket. Nothing is repeated. There's no repeats. There's no cram principle or anything in there. It's all completely different. And they can go through, they can look at anything that they want to, and then immediately, so the idea is that you're getting them to pick one. And you could literally be out the room when they take it. You're not forcing it. They can take anyone they want to, and then immediately you can tell them with no memory work at all and no crib. You can tell them every piece of information on that ticket. You can tell them the date. You can tell them the price that you paid, whether it's standard or first class. You can tell them where you're going from, where you're going to. You can tell them absolutely everything. And I use this as a. What am I talking about? In so many different ways. So I've got like a 20-minute act that I do with just these train tickets. Professionally and also out and about, I do this 20-minute act. And the whole act is taught on the project, right? So it's not just about, I mean, you could literally just say, pick a thing, you're going here. Pick a thing, you're going here. Pick a thing, you're going here. You could do it as simply as that, or you can use it for more complicated prediction effects. You can use it for confabulations. You can use it for card reveals. You can use it for so many different things. But in essence, it is a stack of UK train tickets where they can literally take one and you can tell them all the information, and you've got everything in front of you, and everything that you need immediately you have. And I remember when I taught this to Ryland, and I taught it to him on the train on the way to London to go to the YMC. And within 20 minutes of me explaining how it worked, he had the whole system down, and was doing it over and over again. It's that quick, it's that direct. And the only thing is, obviously, they are UK train tickets. So for people in the UK, it's great because you can say, hey, I travel around on the train a lot and I keep hold of some of the train tickets. Because that's a common thing. A lot of people reach into their pockets and take out train tickets, especially if you're self-employed and you're holding on to them for, VAT and tax and so on and so forth. If you're outside of the UK, it's up to you as to whether you want to incorporate. It's not really an EDC at that point because it's not something that would fit into your wallet, but it is something that you could absolutely do. I mean, I do magic with American coins, right? So, and I find it very intriguing for the UK audiences. Have you seen one of these before? This is the American silver dollar. It's a really old coin. Have a look at it. You could say the same thing. Hey, have you ever been to the UK? Well, these are UK train tickets. Have a look at them. You might have heard of some of the places, Manchester, London, Euston, but then there's other places you probably never heard of, like Newark Castle. We're going to try and do something here. And then go into it. It's up to you. It's your decision. It doesn't really work as an EDC for anybody outside of the UK, but it does work as an interesting prop. However, in the UK, you better believe that both myself and Ryland in our wallets have this trick sitting there, and we're able to do it anytime, anywhere. And I've had some wonderful quotes from this from people like Mark Paul, who I massively respect, Luca Volpe, who I massively respect, and a way better mentalist than I will ever be. So the fact that I've had quotes from them for this project just means the world to me. So yeah, there you go. That is Ticket to Ride. It's an Alakazam trick, so you can get it directly from Alakazam. So there you go, guys. That's another video in the bag. 10 tricks that you absolutely need in your wallet right now. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would you like to see a follow-up video on this with another 10 tricks and then another follow-up video? Let me know. Do you agree with my picks? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. And don't forget, if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and join the Netrix, www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. You can go and access it right now and see what all the fuss is about. I will be back again soon. Don't forget, by the way, if you are a Netrix user, join the Discord. It's very important you do that. But I'll be back again soon. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.